Hello everyone, this is a video I'm doing for my, YouTube, maybe Facebook, we'll see. So we've got past, that day, but we're still in Yule, what I might call the early period of Yule, properly entering Yule on 8th January. So I want to show you essentially my biggest present, really. Really, it was a present to myself, really, because I knew no one else was going to be able to get it. They would have if they could afford it, but they weren't really going to be able to get it. And I do totally understand that, absolutely. This is, admittedly, a very cheap reproduction of the Sutton Hoo sword. I say cheap, it's still £200, but normally things like this cost 500 if you wanted to get them, and a really proper, exact museum replica costs you nearly £5,000, which is enough to buy a flipping car or a house. Not really worth your money, really, is it? But so here you are. You have the enamelled pommel. It's beautiful on each side, even though they're not real garnets. Still beautiful. You got the leather handle, the brass hilt pieces in general, scabbard. See if I can just reveal a bit of the blade. There we are. Well oiled, as you can see. I need to keep that oiled. That's what I call a sort of collector item, really. I'll probably play a role in. I'm going to be keeping it right where the waif it is. Got a book to go with it. I love my partner got me that. I really want to sort of talk now about I'm one of those people who I'm increasingly becoming one of those people who just don't want to really do anything with other people at this time of the year, except where something religious will be going on, where we get to be properly sociable, Sometimes there's only so much a family that you can handle. It really is the case, but I feel I've done a bit for a good 3 days. Spent 3 days with the family, with my boys, with their mum and with their gran. I had a bit of on my own time now. And I'm recognising that a lot of this is to do with the fact I'm now coming very close to that point where I turn to the big 40, and I am increasingly falling into that awful time in a man's life, not a woman's, a man's life, where he gets his midlife, what is known in Latin as the medio descrimen vitae. I kind of feel that I'd rather not call it a crisis, though. I don't like calling it that now because, midlife crisis, it's just become such a term of abuse. It's just another term of abuse that can be used against men, really, Oh, my husband, he's going all lazy. Guess what? It's the midlife crisis. Yeah. And of course, although I can understand why some women want to sort of find a way to get on the same terms as that and try and understand men, is by um, now saying, well, as a feminist, we believe we have our own midlife crisis. Maybe that is truly the case in certain terms, as like, okay, you've now got a point in your life where, you feel you should be giving more to the world and stuff, but, you're not ready to give up yet. But, really, I think all that is just another symptom of the menopause, really. It's a sort of perimenopause thing, I think, not to say that as a man, I'm not trying to say that I know what that's all about. Obviously, I'm a guy. I don't know what the menopause is like. I'm not here to mansplain like so many people explain to us, but, the fact is you can't really disconnect the emotional from the hormonal, I mean, the menopause / perimenopause is very, very complex life point in a woman's life. It's far more complex than anything that happens to a man, and that's why I'm just very skeptical about this idea that there can ever be a female midlife crisis, just as I don't believe there can be such a thing as a male menopause. It's just we don't have that. We have different things, and for us guys, because things are more psychological than hormonal for us guys, I do believe that the psychological process that us as men's brains go through is very difficult. Um, sorry, is very different. It still has an effect to some degree on us hormonally as well. I think, or it might be a symptom of something that is happening at this particular time of life, but predominantly is psychological, and we need to embrace it. So for me, that means no longer calling it a crisis. We must think of it more as a midlife change. I would say call it a midlife counterpoint. That point at which we realise that the people we are has to change now and become something new. We have to become a totally new man to how we were before, and embrace a new side to ourselves that we didn't know existed before. A positive one, obviously, but for me, that is almost getting into things like collecting a sword, something as simple as that, studying it, wielding it, feeling its weight, seeing how it works, learning how to look after it. That for me is what matters to me now, in terms of what I do, and in terms of understanding how I'm going to continue with my arts and crafts business, which is still only just going off the ground, but I hope it will get somewhere, soon. Fingers crossed. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your Yule and have a happy 2024. Like and subscribe if you like what you've just seen. Over and out.